Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2022! Keeping Up with the Nerds is finally back, and do we have a bunch of topics for you guys? Cobra Kai, Boba Fett, The Witcher, Rene finally plays his PlayStation 5 in peace. There's a lot to discuss, so guys, don't go anywhere. Future me, editor me, whatever you want to call me at this point, hit that music. Let's do this. From 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier, Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue number 80! Yay! My name is Bryan.
Rene.
And welcome to the show! Woo!
Yeah. Wow.
Where's Nick?
Oh.
Yeah, about that. Nick quit.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
So, yeah.
Don't.
Drama within the... Just kidding.
He said he hated it here.
Yeah.
He said he didn't like me, that he needed new fresh meat to pick on. And
yeah, he was done with you.
Exactly. I wonder how this is going to look like since this camera is now facing directly me, but I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
So does it look kind of weird or no?
You're a little off center.
I'm a little off center? Yeah. After we hit the record?
After we hit the record.
Do I look weird? Am I like looking over the camera?
Oh, to talk to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Does it?
Yeah, because this one's capturing me just looking at you.
Whatever, we'll make it work. I'll figure out something. Yes, but ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back. Unfortunately, Nick is... he did allow us to basically tell you guys he does have COVID, and so he's at home resting. But that does not mean he's not joining us for our first issue of the year.
Not at all.
We will be giving him a call later on. There is a topic that we do want to discuss with them because we've all seen it. We're all hyped about it.
We're all fans of it.
Freaking loved it.
Yeah.
We all Rene was like, yes.
Yes. It's funny. I was on the phone with Maddie. It's funny you say that. Last night, Maddie was like, "Can you do that again?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "Do your little yes." And I just stopped talking for a bit and it got quiet. And I went,
yes.
"Yes."
Andy was mentioning that too. She was like, "Can Rene do that?" Like she's laughing at you, going, "Yes,
yes." And I was like, I could go creepier if I wanted to.
You could go creepier. Do you want to go creepier?
Let's see. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
I completely forgot to start a timer. So technically now we're like, what? How long have we been recording for?
Technically 5 minutes.
Technically 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm starting it 5 minutes late, technically.
Yes.
Somewhere around there.
Yes.
God, what a great start to this. What a great start.
Yeah, good energy.
What an awesome start, right?
A lot of stuff has happened in the 2 weeks that, we've took a break from, but didn't stop uploading, obviously.
No, we had some content planned. I did say that I was going to finish the skits before the new year.
Mind you,
that didn't work.
We're getting good views on the first 2 skits that we've put up.
Yeah, good interaction from them, too.
Good interaction.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about it, and they love it, First one did really well. Second one is still getting traction. Yeah.
I want to say that the first one came about as big as it did because it was the keywords on the title.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we did use, it did get copy struck. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that it probably pushed it up a little bit more because of the music. And since it's got ads in it,
Yeah.
No, why not? Oh,
it's got ads in it?
Yeah, well, because when it gets copy struck, the person who owns the property to the music can choose to play ads on it or not, or they can take it down. But because we're not monetized on YouTube, so I'm assuming that it could or does have ads on it.
Yeah.
Regardless of it. Who cares? They got half a penny?
I know.
Right? My bad.
Oh my God.
My creativeness. Our creativeness, excuse me.
Ruined.
No, but we couldn't do that skit without that music.
We had to put that music in, that certain score in there.
Yeah, the Jedi theme. Mm-hmm. Who cares? It's fun. It was great, whatever. Cece and Sarah were fantastic.
Yes.
I had so much fun editing them.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah, and I loved how you put the little bloopers at the end with the music overplaying.
Yeah.
I did like that a lot. So I hope you do that moving forward.
So actually, funny that you mentioned it because Andy was kind of giving us a little bit of.
Camera stopped recording.
Did it stop?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, really?
Technical difficulties, guys. We'll be right back.
And now, our feature presentation.
We're back, guys.
Hey.
Woo! Technical difficulties. Now the technical difficulties are with me.
You got me. Whatever you had. The technical.
So we had to change cameras because phone difficulties happens. What happens when Nick's not here? This is the Nick curse, you know. That's what we get for making that poor joke. Nick just cursed us from afar. He's like, he's playing Halo at home.
Oh my gosh.
So if there's another cut in the podcast, it's because we're using we're using my camera for Renee's face cam.
Yeah.
For visual for people that are listening to the podcast on YouTube. By the way, we do have a YouTube channel. Keep it up with the nerds. Go subscribe and let us know because we're almost at 100 subs. We got like 91 as of right now. We're growing. Yes. We're there.
I know.
Almost at 100,
crazy.
dude. It's so great. So if there's another cut in the podcast, we apologize for that. It's just that we need to reset the camera or change batteries, whatever it is.
And I think, did we, by the time of this, when we uploaded, we featured on a podcast, guys. We were featured on Stephen Hoffa's podcast, Standing Still. It's right? That's Standing Still, right? It's not still standing.
I feel like we're never gonna let that down.
No.
It's gonna be there forever.
It's still gonna be hard to because I had to think about it. I was like Standing Still podcast with Stephen Hoffa, which was fun. We had a great time. It was great.
It was good to not be, not have to worry.
Yeah.
In terms of all of this.
That's the thing. Right? And we saw how Steven sets up. It's kind of just like how we do it. He has the same setups that he does. He does those. What kind of cameras did he uses?
He had like Sony camcorders.
Mm-hmm. But they last pretty well too. That's the thing.
They do. They're not. Because we talked about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You were just like,
I was fascinated because that's the thing is that you want it like as someone someone that produces stuff for the show, like you want to learn how people do it.
Yeah.
And so I was asking him, and I kind of noticed like they're not that expensive. I saw them at Target. They're like about $150-$200 per camera.
I think the one thing that we talked about on both when he was on our show and we talked about on his show is that what the space he has. It's like an illusion. It looks like it's spacious.
Yeah.
He looks like he has room.
Yeah.
But we were all in there, and it was we were pretty tightly kind of like. Okay, we're all just kind of sitting.
Three big guys, basically, in one tiny room.
Yeah,
but it was good because you got to see how he ran his production, which is great. And he's such a great host. It's so great and so refreshing to see someone else. Because that's the thing is, we get complimented, not to like rub our own egos or anything, But thank you guys for the compliments, by the way. Yeah. But we get told, they love our energy, they love how we speak with one another, how we can still joke around, but we like pick on each other, kind of stuff like that. And to see Steven kind of like emit not the same energy but have that kind of like talk show host like energy and be very engaging and interested and move the conversation along. That was real great. So it was great. It was fun. Go check it out. Standing Still podcast. We're episode 95 or 94.
I think we're 95. Yeah, I think we're 95. He's about to hit 100. That's crazy. We're
almost at 100 too.
I know.
I think by the time year 2 rolls around, we should be there.
No, we should be by 100. I think. Yeah.
We'll see. Because we haven't done annual issues. Remember, the last issue was an annual,
true.
Technically. So that way, we started the new year with issue 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. There's a lot of stuff we have planned. Just kind of giving you guys a heads up before we move on to the the actual content of the podcast. Skits will be going up with Lewis and Steven pretty soon. Those are going to be headed up, if not already, on YouTube. So if you guys are listening to us on our audio platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Podbean, head on over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to Keeping Up with the Nerds, and you guys can see those skits. Sarah's and Cece's are already up. Lewis and Steven's will be going up soon. If not, they're already up. As far as Tales from the Nerds, there's some sound difficulties that I've been facing.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's causing editing problems.
The last episode too. Was it? No, not Tales from the Nerds. Tales from the Nerds?
That's the one that's causing me the audio problems.
Yeah, because we also filmed the one, because that's the one at your
Nick's
house, right?
had it, yeah. Nick's only had it in one particular scene, which I managed to fix. Mine has it for multiple scenes, so I have to figure out a way to make it work. So it'll hopefully eventually be going up. But there's some content that we're basically working on. We had a meeting not that long ago to discuss some future plans for the next coming month.
Yeah.
For the next coming weeks, actually, that we have planned for February as well. No, we've been hard at work.
Yeah.
It's getting real.
I know, especially because we don't take a break from uploading.
No.
We are very consistent because we shot back to back, was 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, wow. And, that's the one thing that we try to be is just consistent. Mm-hmm. We try to stay on our schedule, and I think that's why people respect what we do.
Yeah, because it's hard. Mm-hmm. Even content creators that are like big.
Yeah.
Courage, Courage is one of them because he keeps releasing these videos. Mm-hmm. It makes me laugh. I love the dude, but it makes me laugh because he's always like, I want to upload more on my channel. Mm-hmm. And then he never keeps up to a consistent upload schedule.
Yeah, and like I see now how like streamers or Let's Plays, how they do it and stuff, and understanding what you have to do as well, and the scheduling and what content they need to put out. Like Mark Replier, like he throws content every day.
He stopped because he was streaming for a while.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's just and then it made me realize like, wow, like he devotes like a couple of days of just like recording.
That's what I mean, that it's getting real. Mm-hmm. Because not to give too much away, because these are surprises that we're actually hoping will become a reality pretty soon. But we have to basically plan out things now.
Yeah.
Like our upload schedule for the podcast has always been, Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's always been there since the beginning. We've always planned that. But in terms of like, the skits and stuff like that, that has always been very sporadic. Yeah. But at least it's consistent enough that like you can expect something to be uploaded on the channel.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it difficult. We're working to bring in more assets. We're planning some stuff to reach out our audience a lot more. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And all of it has kind of, when we had that meeting a couple days ago, was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was yesterday when recording this.
When recording, as of I stopped the meeting and I was just like, holy crap, man. Like, this is like a reality now.
It is. It's more of like, it's not just like, oh, what are we going to record? It's like, no, what are we going to do to push the brand?
Well, yeah.
That's the thing. What are we doing it's not like, oh yeah, we're going to do this skit, we're going to do that. Because that we can just come up with. But that's also recording schedules as well too. We're starting to do that.
Because it's like, it's still a hobby.
It's
still a passion.
It's still fun to do.
Yeah.
But we've noticed that we're getting more traction,
which we have to take advantage of.
That's the thing. Yeah. And I think the way we're doing it, again, I'm so happy and I feel very blessed that we have Nick. Yeah. Because he knows how to go about things. He knows all the way, all the jargon as well too.
Yeah.
He knows how to talk as well and how to go up. He knows how to go about it. You and I, we have the ideas, but there's no way of like, okay, selling it. Nick does it better.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So there's a lot to look forward to. And I feel like within the next 6 months, the next 6 months is going to either make it or break it for us. More than likely it'll make it.
Yes.
But there's still that opportunity where something can happen.
I feel that if it doesn't go our way, it's not of like we're ending the brand. It's more of like we're learning.
I like that you said that.
Yeah.
I like that you said that because, we mentioned it in Steven's podcast. Again, go listen to Standing Still. But we mentioned how like, certain projects that start amongst friends always kind of end in a sour way.
Yes.
After about a year to 6 months. 6 months to a year.
6 months to a year. It's the make it or break it with when you want to start a project or even any sort of thing with group of friends.
Yeah.
You and I have learned that best.
We went through so
much trauma of that. And
Vietnam flashbacks in the background.
But I mean, some bridges were burned. Some it just showed that, okay, well, you can't really do it with certain groups of people in your life.
Yeah, but through the ashes, rose keeping up with the nerds.
Phoenix that is keeping up with will rise.
The dramatic effect of everything.
I'm that Phoenix from Harry Potter. Yes.
Ascension. I miss this dynamic.
Yeah,
man.
right. It's been because
I love Nick, but still,
no,
it's just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Yeah, I forgot how that was as well too. You and I we have our moments. I think looking back, if we had to look back on our early episodes, I think because the first episode we talked about the pandemic. You know, we talked about.
Oh
how
yeah,
it
now
was.
we're like, okay, so look, COVID's a serious thing. I get that.
Yes.
I don't want to joke. All right, I don't want to joke too much about
Yeah.
it. But it's so weird because Andy sent me a meme. Oh man, I feel so old now saying meme because I don't think people nowadays call it a meme. I don't know what they call
I'm
it.
gonna be 30 this year.
Yeah, exactly. Before I forget, actually, before I hit 30, I've committed to the fact that I'm gonna dye my hair. I want to. I want to
we
have
have
like
to
this part.
document
Right,
that.
I want to do like this part right here,
Yeah.
like dye it purple. But first, I have to get married, then do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I want purple.
You're gonna do like the Mark Replier kind of thing. Where,
Yeah.
I see what you do. I see.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
I want that. I just want to try it. You know.
You know,
for fun.
I've never dyed my hair too. I might.
Just do it. Hey,
Talk me into it.
All of us should do it,
Yeah.
but we should all pick a
I don't
color.
want to say like a milestone for the podcast. I feel like people are gonna be like
125 guys. Let's do this. If we get 500 subs by year 2, we dye our hair.
Oh man, that's a
Everyone starts subscribing.
because Nick's dyed his hair.
That's why. So he's done it.
He's done it. He's good.
I pick purple. I want dark purple. But if you
okay.
get like green,
maybe. I don't know. It has to be like a certain green, I think. Or I might do it blue just to match with Mandy.
top of the morning to you, laddies.
Top of the morning.
That's how you all of a sudden turned into Jacksepticeye.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah,
Why
I
are
know,
we
but
joking
it's
about
because
this?
we're like reminisce. It's a new year. That's
It
why
is
we're
a
looking
new year.
back. We're looking back because we started this in 2020, didn't we?
No, 2019. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, we started.
Oh,
this in
I didn't
20
even mention the meme that Andy sent.
Oh, that's.
Oh my God, we're distracting ourselves.
Yeah.
This is why Nick is.
yeah,
Nick
this
keeps
is-
us on track. The meme she sent me was like, when you realize that 2022 is pronounced 2022.
Two, yes. It's a sequel. I actually like that a lot.
Because I'm just like, technically we've had like three surges before this,
Yeah.
right? In COVID. So when you think about it, it's like, you know, COVID 1, COVID 2, the return, COVID 3, redemption, and now we're in like
yeah.
COVID 4.
Oh man.
Or we're in the new trilogy
yeah,
now.
we're like
Star
in the,
Wars.
in the whole new trilogy. Yeah. Oh, like or it's like the Matrix. it's back, but it's not as great. Like, we're kind of accepting that it's around.
It's oh my God, dude, I hate that people are just like so accepting of it now.
Yeah.
People are tired of it. I understand.
I get
but
it.
it's like we just got to take precautions at this point.
Okay, if we're gonna get it like a little bit, I will admit I am tired of wearing masks,
Yes.
but at the same time we have to wear them just for the sake of doing it. You know, we have to do it.
It doesn't do anything. You're not muzzled up. You can still talk. You can still
Yeah.
breathe. And also, if you're like in a public place that requires you to wear a mask,
Yeah.
just step out.
Yeah, if you
It's
don't.
not difficult.
Yeah.
Like I whatever. I'm not going to get into this because we might get
we'll rant for another half an hour, and
Yeah,
then
but-
Nick's like, "Where are they?
why are they not here?
Supposed to talk Cobra Kai."
Why are you talking about COVID? Nah, but honestly, stay safe out there, guys.
Yes.
Believe what you want at this point, but the most important thing to know is to stay safe, keep other people safe, worry about one another and just support, because at this point, everyone's getting sick. Like Nick, for example, we didn't think Nick's vaccinated and boosted and
He's been
everything.
boosted, yeah.
And he got it.
He got exposed to someone that
But
has
he's
it.
taking care of that by staying at home
Yeah,
and
he's taking- yeah.
isolating and making sure that we're also safe as well. He let us know, which is good.
Yeah.
So we can appreciate that. And
Definitely.
yeah, honestly, I don't want to get, too, because I feel like if the moment you talk about it, it's like political. What is this, like a freaking...
And I hate how people made it a political. That's the thing. I hate how people made this whole pandemic a political thing. Why do we have to make everything political?
Because just whatever.
No,
you know
yeah,
what?
let's
You know
move on,
what's?
yeah.
You
This-
know what is not political?
This
You know
this
what's
show
not
is
political?
Switzerland, all right?
Poland. You know what's not political? Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Wait a minute.
Come on. I mean, Star Wars is built on politics.
What do you mean?
Oh my God, there were people who would argue.
Boba Fett came out.
Yes, 2 episodes in right now.
Yeah, December 31st.
Yes.
Holy crap. It came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
It came out last year.
Hey.
Dad jokes. But it came out last year. We're 2 episodes in as at the time of recording. By the time that this episode releases, we're on our 3rd episode. We'll be doing a mini cast for that one. I want to do a mini cast, I should be saying. Just mainly because I feel like there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. And it feels very different. I don't want to spend too much time on Boba Fett right now because not much of the story has been revealed. Yeah. But I will say this because we talked about it before we started recording. Yes. You and I are on opposite sides of the
shockingly.
spectrum. Ah! Civil War time. The Republic versus the Empire.
And war as always.
So I am of the loving side of it. Yeah. I adore what they're doing here. I just love how much more badass Boba Fett is now. Because I've always been of the mentality that Boba Fett was made to sell toys. Yeah. That's kind of like the whole aspect of it, right?
He was there.
And I mean, people disagree, especially people that were like big fans of the EU, the extended universe for Star Wars. Yes. Yeah. Or, the comic books about how he managed to escape the Sarlacc pit. They retcon that. Because it was canon that he got out.
Yeah, he
but they
shot out
the
of it.
Way, exactly. Now they retcon that by saying that, apparently Patrick Oswald predicted it.
Well, because, if you look back at the whole aspect of him falling into the Sarlacc pit, it was Han that... Oh, sorry. If you guys hear anything, it's the plumbing next door.
Oh, okay.
They're fixing the plumbing in the bathroom. Not here, next door.
Shut up!
And didn't Han hit his jetpack and it sparked and he flew? Yeah. So his jetpack wasn't at 100% if you think about it.
No.
Yeah. So how he would just shoot
it's
himself
Star
right
Wars. And look, I was thinking about that because it does get more complicated. I was thinking about it watching the 2nd episode, how there's certain things about the way the story's being told where you just have to accept that it's badass and Star Wars. And that's all.
That's true.
Right? And you're just supposed to enjoy it. Because
so basically you're supposed to accept plot holes.
Yes and no.
Because there's a whole generation that doesn't accept plot holes. Yeah.
So what I'm enjoying so much about Boba Fett, do you mind if I start?
Go for it.
Okay, so the Mandalorian versus the Boba Fett, I feel like they're both separate entities at this point.
You can't compare the two.
You can't, because the Mandalorian is, Jon Favreau's child. That is, his creation, and he knew exactly how he wanted to make this happen. Yeah. It is a Western all the way through, and it's 2 seasons. 2 seasons, right?
2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, 2 seasons. It's a Western the whole way through. The music is very Western. The shots, the action sequences. It's a very... you can tell what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were aiming for when they made this. And Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, it's different. I can't put my finger on it yet, but it is produced still by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and the executive producer is Robert Rodriguez, who directed the episode.
The first episode. Or the
first
2?
In The Mandalorian.
Oh, yes, that's right.
It's the one where he directed where the child got kidnapped, right?
Yeah, and when Boba Fett comes back,
exactly.
He gets his armor. Yeah.
So this is going to be his child.
Yeah.
I can tell. And the first episode was great.
It was actually really fun.
Yes.
I enjoyed, really quick, I did enjoy how they showed how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
The fact that they're saying that Patrick Oswald predicted it in Parks and Rec kind of upsets me a little bit because obviously that's kind of the way he should be coming out.
That's the thing, and I think because Patton Oswalt is just a huge nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
the guy is a you look at him, he's just like
he's a great writer as well too. So he knows how to, or a way that. What fans want to see, or would want, or even himself, that he knows that this would be good.
Let's give Patrick Oswalt the credit.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Pat. I kept saying Patrick. My bad. Patton Oswalt. Let's give him the credit he deserves.
Yes.
Because if he wrote that line or those lines in Parks and Rec,
whoever wrote that for him in Parks and Rec,
if it was him or someone else, credit deserved.
Yes,
100%. But you also have to understand, as someone who writes for this, sometimes you get really into that headspace where you really want to sell something. So it's kind of like, I could have seen this being a way of doing so because it is a great way to get out of the Sarlacc pit. It's very clever. It's very Boba Fett because he's very resourceful. Yes. We know who he is, and then we get some background check of how he basically went from, when he got out of the Sarlacc pit to where he is now as the new crime lord of Tatooine, or of a certain district in Tatooine.
Well,
because he's not full on crime lord. He owns a territory.
Yes,
that's
and
kind of what
he's not official. I don't want to say he's official crime lord because he's only claiming the throne because he killed whoever was last sitting on it.
Exactly.
So he's forcibly trying to build a name for him.
And it's funny though because everyone has, even Fennec mentions it, that like crime lords in the area basically build their reigns upon fear. Yes. But Boba Fett's building it on respect.
And that's a different take, which I love. I love that. I love that he doesn't want to be feared. He doesn't want to be, I don't want to say aggressive, but he doesn't want to be like how basically Jabba was.
Exactly.
You know? Just like I could just do this, you know, and then someone will do it for me and stuff like that.
I want to know if they're going to connect that to the Mandalorian, like possibly saying that his viewing of Mando kind of changed the aspect, because that was the thing, is that when we did see Boba Fett coming back in the Mandalorian, there was a very tough persona to him. Yeah. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm Boba Fett and I'm here to kick ass. And then now he's just like, yeah, I'm going to roll with an iron fist, but I'm going to make you respect it and understand why I do it, which is cool. It's a great aspect to have.
I think if I was to predict something as of right now, I do feel like we're going to have Mando just appear in an episode. I feel like they have to. Yeah. Because I feel like he's going to need like some help. And then, you know, obviously he's like, hey, you know, I did this for you. Can you just help me out this one time and stuff like that? So
it's bound to happen. It has to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end.
I think so. Yeah, like second to last episode, or
exactly.
Probably.
So I enjoy it. So far, I liked it. The first episode was kind of his background. The second episode was more about his kind of journey into being accepted into the Tusken Raider tribe. Yeah. This is kind of where we split apart, because I love the development of the Tusken Raiders, because I was mentioning to you that one of my favorite things to see is how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni managed to grab a tribe, a race of aliens that most people didn't really care about, and then gave them culture. And we saw that in The Mandalorian.
Yes. You know, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, which is cool.
I did enjoy that in The Mandalorian.
But now we're getting full-fledged, like, these people are not just savages, they are ancestral. You know, they come from an ancestry that owned land, that owned dunes in Tatooine. So if you are driving by, you know, or land speeding through the dunes and they attack you, there's a reason as to why they're doing that, which makes that so much more interesting.
Yeah, this shows they're not just like aggressive, you know, people that live in the desert. They're just there because they live there.
They're not savages.
No.
They could look like savages, but they're not. And that makes it so much more interesting. Right? So if you guys have not seen it, spoilers from here on out, watch it, then come back to us so you guys can enjoy our conversation about Boba Fett. Going into episode 2, we see that Boba Fett is trying to earn his way into being respected by the tribe, because he's not running away. No. He's learning their fighting styles. He's learning how to speak with them. And then there comes a point where the long land speeder, as they call it, is basically attacking the Tusken Raiders, right? So I kind of noticed, and you can kind of see the details there as well, by the blasters that the soldiers were using on the train, that they were kind of like, I thought that they were Republic issued, because they look like Republic rifles, right? Which made that much more interesting, because I'm not like, okay, so why are they attacking Tusken Raiders? Like, are they doing it for fun, or are they doing it for like a reason or whatever? You know, it got me interested. So that already set that bar for that episode. It's like, okay, you piqued my interest. Now tell me why this is going on. Throughout the entire episode, we see him kind of training, earning his way through it. He steals the land speeders from the biker gang, quote unquote, the biker gang from the little bar, which was a badass fight scene, because cool, he didn't need a gun. He could still fight you hand to hand, even though he's kind of old, you know?
Like, he doesn't rely on the armor. Having the Beskar armor on, too, you know, he knows how to move around, dodge, and stuff.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because you see him, he's an older actor now.
Yes.
You know? So it's great to see him kind of still be able to move around and throw people through a window, right? And then he teaches the Tusken Raiders how to use and operate the land speeders so that they can attack the long land speeder, or so they call it, to take it down. Train sequence happens. They're on a fight. And this is what I was mentioning to you, where it's like sometimes you just have to accept that it's Star Wars and it has to be badass. The part that made me laugh was when when Boba Fett jumps into the front cart and the droid is like, and jumps out, and I'm like, where are you going to go?
I saw that too. I was like, and then you see it crawling too. I was like, wait, this thing was like bolted to the front car.
I thought it was.
And then I just see it's like it grows arms and just like.
Yeah, so that's what confused me. I was just like, usually if the droid is made to operate something, you would think it'd be bolted to that.
Yeah.
Right? But no, they just jumped out of the window because like, I'm not going to deal with this. Jumps out and then just crawls away. Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
What's your purpose? What you were created for one thing,
Yeah.
which was to drive the train. What else are you going to do? Be a DJ like we see in what's the bar in Batu.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. If you've been to Batu, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's kind of where the acceptance has to kind of like the funny acceptance, I guess you could say. And we get that development of they're essentially trespassing on ancestral territory, which is why they're attacking. So I enjoyed the hell out of that because now I feel for the Tusken Raiders, and I thought about when Anakin just went and slaughtered the tribe that bought his mother into slavery. Yes. Right? And I was just like, okay, well now, back then as a child watching episode 2 or what is it? Attack of the Clones. Yeah, Attack of the Clones. As a kid, I was just like, yeah, Anakin's mother died. Like, I understand. He had to kill everyone.
Yeah, his anger.
He killed every single Tusken Raider because screw them. But now, like, looking into this and kind of like taking it back, going like, well, crap, he killed women, children, and men who, I get it, they shouldn't have bought someone into slavery, but at the same time, it's like, you went on a full rampage. There was darkness in him, Like now I fully understand what was going on.
It was a slaughter what he did.
So why didn't you like it?
So the reason why I didn't like, I don't like what it's doing so far. I should say that. I don't hate the show. There's an aspect of it that I don't agree with the way that they're telling a story. And this has to go back to when I started watching Arrow. When I watched Arrow, I was like, okay, cool. We get, Oliver, in Star City, and and we get to see what he did on the island. When he was, when his boat crashed and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. But then it just kept going for the whole series, and it would always be like, oh yeah, Oliver's on the island, but he's off the island. And it's like, okay, we're only going to show
their flashbacks.
Yeah, but it's not even like a narrative in the flashbacks. It's just like, oh, we're going to do something that's going to be beneficial to the episode and stuff, And it's like he starts meeting, like he met like Amanda Waller, and like I'm like, wait, what?
He met Slade.
Yeah, he met Slade, which is fine, like because they hinted that in the first episode there was a Deathstroke mask on the island when he was found on the island. I'm like, that's cool. Okay, we get to see him fight Deathstroke later on, but again, I didn't like the constant back and forth. It was kind of like very mentally exhausting. And it seems like they're kind of doing that so far in Book of Boba Fett that I don't agree with. Like I said, I told you, I like the narrative where he's on Tatooine and just trying to establish him as a crime lord. I'm more invested in that. And it's nothing against the Tusken Raiders. It's just I don't care for them personally. So like when he was, I'm glad to see like, how he got his, robes, and he got his, his staff and stuff like that. It was cool, but I'm like, well, where is he? I hope it's not like a long journey we're going to see and stuff, because it doesn't seem like, because there's not a lot of time between then and when he finds Finnick. That's the thing, because this takes place after Return of the Jedi, and they can't stretch that. If that's the route they're going, if they're doing like an Arrow thing, it's not a lot of that's going to be stretching that whole narrative, that whole backstory narrative.
So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because Arrow, so the only reason I don't agree with you 100% is because Arrow it was very uncomfortable to go back and forth, because they were going back and forth in certain points of the story that didn't make sense. Yeah. It was like if you had a 30-minute episode, because Arrow was like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Arrow was 30 minutes. In that 30-minute time span, you'd spend 5 minutes in present time. then 10 minutes in the past,
Yeah.
then another 10 minutes in the present time, and then 5 minutes in the past.
Yeah.
And what Boba Fett's doing is that it gives you a little bit of the story in the present, and then it throws you back into the past. That's kind of why I'm okay with it, because it's giving you a little bit of the development in the present, but telling you more about his past to establish what's going on.
I guess I'm more of the lines of like, let's move forward. I hope though that this is a season 1 thing, and I want to if they do make it, if they do a season 2 and it still carries forward, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna totally watch or enjoy that moving forward.
Hold your thought.
Yes.
We're gonna be right back. We're gonna do a cut because we just lost camera B, and we'll be back. We're back, guys.
We're back. So that's why I'm kind of like moving forward. Like, I'll see. I'm really still interested in continuing with the show, but I just kind of hope personally, unless they drive me into the backstory, like personally for me. But right now, it's not drawing me.
It's not selling you.
It's not selling me right now.
Which is it's an acquired taste, and that's why like I'm not gonna fight you, or I'm not gonna like argue with you at this point.
It's definitely different than Mandalorian. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's definitely different than Mandalorian. Maybe that's because I like Mandalorian and I like that it was moving.
But you have
forward.
trust issues.
That's what it is.
You have trust issues, which is totally
I'm a Gemini.
fine.
That's fine. Yeah, that's why.
What is that supposed to mean? And I'm a Virgo. What are you saying?
Virgo.
Huh?
Oh man, are we supposed to mesh well?
Technically, okay. So I
Really
don't know.
quick, I don't know astrology.
I
and
don't.
stuff.
Yeah,
I just
I
know
don't.
what
I
am.
don't. I don't. Look, so here's because I don't care.
Let me see.
No, don't look it up. Don't do this. We're not discussing this. No, we're not.
I'm just gonna do a quick little
me arguing this way with you is totally gonna have someone be like, yeah, I can see why he's a Virgo now. Ugh. I apparently don't get along with like Pisces.
Gemini signs get.
What are we saying? If we don't get along with each other, are we canceling Keeping Up with the Nerds?
This is make it break it. Just kidding.
This is the make it or break it.
Generally, the most compatible signs for Gemini friendships or romantic relationships are the follow air signs Aquarius and Libras. And then fire signs Aries, Leos, and Sagittarius.
Are we really going to discuss this?
No, I guess not.
Let's just not.
Okay.
Can we move on?
I guess I'm just a weird person because there's also a friend that's my friend's the opposite of like apparently she told me like she can't get along with Gemini and she's all into that. She's all into all that astrology and stuff.
Yeah.
She tells me like she asked me too. She goes, "What day were you born?" I'm like, "Oh, June 20th." And she's like, "Oh, wait, you're a Gemini?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm not supposed to get along with you." And I'm like,
we can't
what?
be friends.
But we've been friends for like going on like 6 years now. Like,
this is where our friendship ends. We're done.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
All right, fine. You know what? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Going back to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about astrology anymore, because, man, we're getting out of hand.
We're talking about space, still within the same thing.
Oh, that's technically true. Technically. Okay, this is going to be going alongside another topic that we're going to quickly discuss before we bring in Nick. The Witcher did that.
Yes.
So why is it that you can tolerate it in The Witcher, but not in the Book of Boba Fett?
Well, the thing was, I didn't like it in Witcher season 1 because Witcher did it in a different way where they didn't tell you right away. It was told in dialogue. There was no like, in the next episode, it's like, oh yeah, 2 months has passed or a year has passed. We literally see characters meet up and they legitly say, oh, it's been 5 years since I've seen you, and that was the problem with The Witcher season 1. And then in season 2, they fixed that because it was just a stream of narrative. That was it. And it was like, we knew how much time was going on by the time we got here and stuff like that. It was like after the battle in season 1. And then after that, we're just following both Yennefer and Geralt moving forward in this timeline that they're doing now.
I 100% agree with you there because there is something that is saving the Book of Boba Fett in terms of going back and forth. You're not going back and forth at random times. You're going back and forth when he's asleep.
That's true.
He's dreaming. So there's a reason as to why.
That's
so in terms of like The Witcher, right? Why it didn't work in season 1, I'll tell you right now, as someone that has not played the games and as someone that hasn't played the games but understands the narrative and hasn't really read the books, entirely.
Same here.
I enjoyed the Witcher series because it was just interesting.
It was.
But the first season was very tough to grasp onto.
It's still hard to watch. because
yes and no.
I think for me, honestly, they also fixed that because it was in season 1 of The Witcher.
Are we moving on to The Witcher, by the way?
A little bit, I guess. Okay. So yeah. Because in The Witcher, there was like very kind of like unneeded gratuitous nudity in episodes, and I'm usually fine with that. But the thing was,
I'm sorry.
Did
we find someone else that doesn't like unnecessary sex scenes?
It's just
because
like,
apparently I get bagged on for saying that. No, you're just like, it's too much sex.
It's like that's the thing, and I didn't mind it in season 1, but then the thing was is that they didn't do it in season 2, and I was like, oh, well, that's actually better.
No, but they still showed tits.
Hardly. They showed I mean, the first episode.
There's reason.
Yes, that's the thing. Within reason. Because,
within reason.
Yeah, because there was because remember in season 1, like, you know, Yennefer is trying to call this like demon or something, and she has like the like patterns or whatever spells on her chest, and she's still exposed. You know, the whole time she's talking to the bard. What's his name? I forgot his name. It's singer.
Just the bard.
Yeah, the bard, but he has a name. But
he makes an appearance in season 2, right?
Yeah. So
okay,
great.
cool.
So cool. You haven't finished it, huh?
No, I'm 4 episodes in.
He has a cool song as well from the last one, from Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. It's burn, butcher, burn.
Okay.
And you could tell the way, because remember how his friendship with Gerald ended in season 1? Mm-hmm. He's very sour about it in this song, but he, instead of calling it Witcher, he calls Gerald the Butcher.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and so great, it's so good.
It makes sense. It's so great to live in a time when we have, like, I mean, the pandemic sucks. It's terrible. Mm-hmm. But like the last 2 years, if anything, have brought us some great content to watch. Because we got Cobra Kai, we got The Witcher, we got, you know, the Mandalorian, we got the Book of Boba Fett.
I remember when the pandemic started and the lockdown was initiated, the whole lockdown thing, and at least in California.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that took off was the Tiger King.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, everyone watched. I never finished season 2. Because you know what? I heard that it was basically just deleted scenes and interviews from season 1.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, no, I want moving forward.
You want content?
Yeah, I don't want rehashed stuff that you guys didn't show because it didn't seem interesting and stuff like that at the time.
So The Witcher started in 2019.
2019.
And here's the funny thing about it. Okay, so The Witcher started off in 2019.
Yeah, because it came out in December 2019. Yeah.
And then the season 2 of The Witcher, which just came out not that long ago, takes place literally days after the end of season 1.
Yes.
So maybe I'm probably the only one that's kind of like a little bit annoyed of it. I wish that they could have, like, understanding that they had to halt production because of the pandemic, they could have said, okay, we're going to wait and say it was a couple years after what happened, right? Because now I'm looking and going like, Ciri was not that much older.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right?
I'm watching season 2. She grew up.
She went from being a little girl to a woman.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, but she's technically a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's going on here, guys? It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't care if you spoil it.
No, not that. It's just when we talk about in the next segment, you see that also with Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah,
because Cobra Kai is in a span. If you think about it, it's in a span of a year from season 1 and 2.
Yes,
it's been 4 years though. That's the thing.
Since season 3 and season 4.
No, that's the thing. No, in a whole time span since the show's been out.
Yeah,
4 years, but the show is within a year span. It's from the last tournament into the next year tournament.
No, there's been 2 other tournaments in between.
No, there's been 1.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. It's been their senior, like, because it was from last summer into their
summer.
Yeah, their junior summer, because it was their junior prom too.
Dude.
That's the thing. And you can see Miguel has like a stash. He
went
tries
from
to shave.
A boy to a man.
He's shaving, but you still see the stubbles in certain scenes as well too.
Oh my god, dude, that's so freaking.
But we'll talk about that more with Nick.
Yeah. That's so weird to think about. But going back to The Witcher again, so like the Book of Boba Fett, we'll come back to that at a later time, and we'll do a mini cast when everything has come out. It's a great series. If you guys have not started watching it, go watch it. Obviously, more than likely, you're probably already watching it because The Mandalorian is perfectly great. The Witcher, though, we both enjoyed.
Yes,
for the most part, season 1.
I love season 1 for what it was.
Just hard to consume.
That's the thing.
Hard to understand.
It's a hard watch through. But season 2, it's a great payoff. That's the thing. You're watching all these characters, great character development, and it's cool seeing Gerald be a dad. You know, like he gets those little dad moments that I just love.
He's an asshole, but he's like an understanding asshole. Yeah. So I've only seen the first 4 episodes. You've seen it the whole way through. Yes. I don't mind if you spoil it. So if you guys have not seen it yet, go ahead and pause it again and come back afterwards to listen to our conversation about The Witcher, because The Witcher is a great series to watch. I love the first season of The Witcher. One, because again, I'm not a medieval person. Like I can't get through Lord of the Rings as well as I could with, like, you know, the Star Wars trilogy. That to me is a lot more entertaining than something like Lord of the Rings. I'm just a sci-fi person in general. But something about The Witcher got me, and it's just like, it's the world building.
It's great.
It's so great. It's not super heavy, but it's also light and like, it's not super heavy and light enough to just kind of have you sit through it and understand like what factions are at war, why they're at war, and understand the story between it all.
The one thing that I will say though, in season 1 of The Witcher, they didn't do a good job explaining stuff.
Because you're going back and forth.
Because you're constantly going back and forth. They're mentioning Nilfgaard, the Nilfgaard army, and stuff like that.
The north and the south, why they're at war.
That's the thing, and they're not explaining certain things. Like the Nilfgaard was a big thing for me. I was like, who are these, you know, people in black armor and stuff, like, you know, and then like there's a thing called the White Flame. So that didn't click with me until I had to watch season 2.
The mages hate the elves, and the elves just can't stand humans.
And the mages are like working for different factions of kingdoms within the world and stuff. And I'm still kind of like lost in season 1, but then season 2 takes all that and it's like, okay, no, we're explaining it, but then we're just showing you as well too. They do a good job of just showing you of these different factions, why, explaining Nilfgaard, and then explaining finally, like, we've never seen the White Flame, but we've heard of it. He's in charge of the Nilfgaard army, and it's revealed of like who's in charge of the and they finally reveal who the White Flame was the whole entire time, because that's a big thing in season 2 that they keep mentioning, you know, with the Nilfgaard army, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, the White Flame's coming to see, you know, and stuff. He's not going to be happy about what he's seen or what's happening or what we're doing here, and it's like, you know, White Flame, why do they keep hyping him up?
Why about it?
Yeah, I'm like, what's so great about it?
The only reason I can stand it is because I played Skyrim and put like 200 hours of it back in high school. Yeah. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. I understand what they're trying to do.
I think it's more for people that watched it, you know, I don't want to say it's like Lord of the Rings.
Something about the medieval aspect of shows gets people. And I feel like that's why it's a very popular show.
Yeah, with Game of Thrones over... And
you need that.
Everyone's watching. I've noticed certain fans of Game of Thrones are watching Witcher, or they're waiting for that new show to come out. Was the House of Dragons?
Wheel of Time is also another one that's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
I thought House of Dragons got canned.
No, that's still coming out. That's they
or did the prequel of Game of Thrones get canned?
No, this is a prequel.
There's something about I know that there's something Game of Thrones related that the big news was they spent $3-something million or whatever on the first pilot episode and it got canned. So I don't know if it's that one. I have to look back
into it. Then they put out the trailer, so I think if anything,
it might not be that one.
It might not be that one because they put out the trailer, so I think they're waiting for the season to come out and see and judge it by there.
Okay,
because that's what HBO does. HBO likes to look back at
HBO.
But other than that, The Witcher, like I said, The Witcher was really great. I love season 2. That's my favorite season so far because they do what's so great about it. I think what I like is they show other Witchers. They have Geralt go back to where they meet up for the winter.
Yeah, and kind of seeing a couple, you know, Let's Plays of, you know, The Witcher and understanding the storyline and everything. It's cool to see that because in the first season, we only get told by Geralt about the Witchers and why they're shunned from society.
Yeah.
Now we get to see that they're not necessarily respected, even though they are out there killing monsters.
They're sought after. That's another thing too. Is that like people hate the Witcher, or Witchers, but they still need them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I understand that, you know, if we would have read the books, if we would have played the games, we might have understood it. We might have understood it a little bit more. But I feel like that's kind of the mystery that keeps us engaged into the show because that's what the first season did, is that it really like it really made us stick with it to try to figure out the answers and connect pieces here and there. Even though it was uncomfortable going back and forth like repeatedly and not understanding where in where in the timeline certain events fit.
Yeah.
You were given answers at an appropriate rate, but still given questions so that you could still watch the next episode. I will say this. If you guys have not seen the first season of The Witcher, be very careful about where you watch the show. Because
I can't play it here.
No, I watched it. We went to South Dakota back in 2019, and I was watching it in a in the car that had my cousins and their kids. And I was seated in the middle, so I literally am like watching the show like this, and I'm just like, and, then, like, and sex.
The scene that like Gerald's like sitting next to a girl in bed. You're like, oh.
Gerald and Yennefer, that entire sequence. Oh, God! Literally softcore porn. That's what that entire sequence was. But I will say that they don't hold back on the violence. No. Not to say that that's what I look forward to, but it's so great to see like them just kind of like just going at it and going like, you know what? We're not afraid to show someone's face get stomped on by a hoof and show you the aftermath. In season 2, in the first episode, is it the first or second? No, it's the first episode with the not the Banshee, but the Batgirl, whatever.
Yeah, it's the first episode
when she gets stabbed, and then she like does a whole exorcist thing by turning her whole body around and just pulling herself through the sword. That got me. I was just like, that's gross.
Which what sucks about that episode is that because they make you like that guy. That they do a great job of like really making him charming. And then when you find out why he was cursed, because he killed the princess, but then also raped her at the same time. And I was like, oh, God damn. I was like, this show makes me like this character. I was like, he felt bad for him, too, because he left.
But you understand.
But you understand again.
Because Geralt has that kind of like, because that's the thing is that Geralt isn't lovable, but you understand why he is the way he is.
He's cautious about trusting people or... people have secret motives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he knows how the world is, how people of the world truly are and stuff like that.
Exactly. And it makes it feels like he's an already fleshed out, developed character, but we're slowly chipping away at his shell to understand why he is the way he is.
That's the thing.
And that's why that show works so well.
There's what I love is that it shows how humans are.
Yeah.
Not the monsters of the show. I mean, there's certain monsters of the show that are kind of like, wow. But in here, it shows you how humans react to different people or different things in that world of The Witcher.
Yeah.
That they're very prejudiced and stuff because they still do the same thing with all the elves in here and stuff. And once you see how the elves are, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's like a scene that you have to watch, and once you see it, you're like, oh, it's like that. Okay. Crap. Wait a minute. You know what I'm talking about. You'll see. Watch. Yeah. Like once I think once you see the episode, you're gonna message me and be like, "Damn, like,
Renee, why didn't you tell me this? I did. Oh, why?"
Yeah. But keep checking it out. Great. It's a great way to end the season. That's the thing. They left it on a good cliffhanger.
It's so, and just to kind of add a final note before we move on and talk to Cobra Kai, we're going to cut again because one, I have to reset that camera, Renee's camera, and then I have to reset this camera that's in front of me because we're going to be calling Nick, so we're going to stop recording for a bit. I will say this. For people that, I'll say this. For nerds, right? For nerds. It's so great to live in a time when we get to enjoy some well-produced video game adapted TV shows.
Yes.
Or TV adapted video game. No, I was right. Yeah, because The Witcher is based off a video game, based off a book series, and then you have Arcane as well, which was really, really good. So it's great to see that, and productions understand and respect like where this is coming from. And if it wasn't for Henry Cavill,
yes,
I don't think that we would have had a good Geralt, because he really understands how to play him. I can't see Henry Cavill in there.
So
I don't see him.
So I played really quick. I played the game after watching the show of The Witcher 3, and I guess it's maybe because he was my first introduction to the character was Henry Cavill portraying it. But when I play the game, I don't like that character. honestly.
In the
It's
game?
different. In the game, it's different.
Yeah, because I feel from what I understand, the books are very different. Or the video games that are based on the books, they don't follow it 100%.
Yeah.
But they still respect like the lore
Yes,
and the source material.
That's what it's like. They take the lore and loosely make their own story with it.
I really want to read the books.
This show makes me definitely want me to read the books.
I'll see if I can get it, and once I finish like one, I'll give you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Cool.
see if we can do that. Okay,
Right.
so we're gonna be talking about Cobra Kai next. So stay tuned, guys. It's not like you guys are gonna miss out because we're literally gonna go boop, and then it's guys, Nick's here, woo, whatever. So little production cut right here. We're gonna be cutting cameras, and we'll see you all in about a second.
Here we go.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it only took a second.
Yes.
And we have the return of another nerd. He's not dead. Like I
not
said
dead.
before. No.
Jesus.
Nick!
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you been, buddy?
COVID?
COVID's happening.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah.
But you doing
but
okay?
we weren't gonna let that stop us from having you on the show. Though.
No, we wanted
Yeah,
to
no. I think I got one of the newer the newest strain, which it just like for the most part, if you have your vaccinations plus your booster, it just kind of feels like a really terrible cold.
Isn't it? It's
It's the one in France, right?
So hold up, because I can't be the only one that noticed this. I actually have to start the timer. My bad. This variant's called Omicron.
Yes.
Yes.
Has no one made the connection that Futurama has an alien?
Omicron Persei 8.
Thank you. And like no one's made the connection.
No, you know what's funny? I get more people talking about that. It sounds like a transformer. Omicron.
No, that's dumb. It's it's Omicron Persei 8.
Mm-hmm.
So literally,
Yeah.
what if this strain came from like
Brian,
that race of aliens?
Not a lot of people watch animated shows like you do.
Futurama is a great show.
Futurama is considered a cartoon. It's an American cartoon.
How
Yeah.
dare you? But wait, let's not insult Futurama that way, please.
I think the most noticeable American cartoon, at least all time, I would have to say
Simpsons.
is Simpsons. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And then,
but
like, Family
Futurama
Guy.
is made by the same guy.
That's the thing. But
Yeah.
But what's more pop culture like? What was a bigger impact in pop culture?
I don't know which one has a better series finale.
I'll tell you that. How about this?
Drama.
What about this?
Well, that Simpsons is still going on.
Let me
Like-
ask you this question, okay?
I'll die before Simpsons ends. You kidding me?
Oh,
I'll be
Don't
like
say that,
95 and Simpsons still going, man.
Season 95 or whatever. It's
I know.
like,
Season 3004.
I will say this: it was weird watching Simpsons. I saw a recent episode of Simpsons, and it was weird seeing Bart holding a smartphone.
oh, that's so.
Bart has held smartphones. I think Homer has done VR. He did VR in like a recent episode. Like it's weird kind of
Yeah.
seeing them in like modern technology.
Yeah.
But I got a question for you.
Okay.
Because you said that what's the most American like show, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the
Golden
most?
Girls because Betty White died.
Oh, why did you have to? I was about to do a good transition, and you over here had to come out
We
with
have to mention
sadness.
Betty White. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Grandma?
America's grandma.
Yeah.
Andy and I were having this discussion where it's like, okay, America doesn't have a mom. They have two dads, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. And Betty White's
Yeah.
considered the grandma.
Tim Allen is kind of like that stepdad that, you know, he was real cool when we
He's
first met him. He was cool for years, and then all of a sudden, like, we went downstairs, and he's got like a weird porn collection. You know?
Yeah.
He's the uncle
And
that
he's
you
got like a "Let's Go Brandon" flag.
Yeah, you know, like he's that cool uncle, but like mom and dad always tell him, don't go downstairs with him. You know, but,
Yeah. Don't talk to him for too long.
yeah, don't talk to him too long. You know,
smells of bourbon every time he comes in already.
yeah, man. Tim Allen, he was America's dad.
He
and then,
was.
you know,
He's still the America's dad.
we keep losing dads. You know, first Bill Cosby.
We still have Tom Hanks, dude.
Speaking of losing dads, Cobra Kai.
Dang it! I was gonna do the transition.
Good job.
Daddy issues. We'll talk about Cobra Kai.
I was hoping somebody was gonna
Take it from me.
get that ball out of here.
Cobra Freakin Kai, 4
Yes.
seasons, and a show that started on YouTube.
Yeah.
Out of all the
Yes.
places.
YouTube originals. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to subscribe to like YouTube Red to watch it.
which I'm
That's
still
the
technically
that's the
subscribed.
it's messed up because that's the reason why I subscribe to YouTube Red.
I still have it. I still have my YouTube Premium.
Yeah, and
Why?
then it turned into YouTube Premium, and then now they don't really have too many shows on it, but I still watch YouTube Premium because it's worth it.
Yeah, it's because I don't watch YouTube on like my computer, or I don't
I
watch
watch it on my phone.
I watch it on my phone on TV, so it cuts through the ads because I don't want to sit through like
Oh,
5
that's true.
ads.
They've been more ridiculous with ads lately.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna. I'd much rather give the creators I watch like half a penny for watching.
The worst thing is that if you are watching a video that's like our video, like that's an hour long, they'll then put in like 4 or 5 ads throughout it. It's ridiculous.
Unless we get monetized, unless we get our 1,000 subs and like 300,000 watch hours, something like that.
Well, I'm just saying, like the longer videos like ours, yeah, then they get like really, really. They have a lot of commercials in it.
Lot of
Ours
ads.
don't.
Ad blocker.
Ad blocker. Yeah.
Not that we're not that we're advertising that, but that's a thing. Anyways, Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
So quick question, because I don't know if we've all talked about Cobra Kai before. Have we talked about Cobra Kai before? Yeah, we did.
No,
we talked
we
about it
didn't.
last season. Yeah, we did.
You weren't on here.
Was I not on?
No.
Then you guys talked about it.
Yeah.
I've
Yes.
talked about it in other places. Cobra Kai is awesome.
I've talked about it with other podcasts.
Talked about it with other
There were other podcasts before us. Sure.
Listen,
There was a life
listen,
before you guys.
Yeah, listen, I had a life before you guys, and I gave up my Fridays.
That's true.
Bryan took away my my individuality,
What?
turned me into a caricature of myself. And
Dang.
now I have COVID. So it's full circle. It's full circle,
I
really.
miss this dynamic. It's gonna be back in the studio. Well, 2 of us.
I'm here. I'm like a little iPad in the corner.
I gotta figure out what avatar I'm gonna put for you on screen.
But yeah, I don't know. With that, did you guys watch the Karate Kid movies when you were growing up?
Oh
Yes.
yes, yeah.
What kind of questions?
Haven't rewatched the Hillary Swank one though.
The next
You don't
Karate
need to.
Kid.
In which I'm not gonna lie, I really hope Hillary Swank comes up.
I want that too.
Okay, wait. Spoilers from here on out.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
guys have not seen Cobra Kai season
Yes.
4, because I will say this:
So-
Cobra Kai season 4 did a better Star Wars story than what Disney did in 3 movies and a bigger budget.
True,
Yes.
but I have to admit, so because there was a what was it? There was an interview with the actor that plays Daniel, and they were
next
saying
Lupita,
like
by the way.
who could show up in this show? Like honestly, who could show up? Because like they were going like, what about Jaden Smith, Jackie Chan?
Oh yeah, that was talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, could they show up inside of the show? Like, would you guys ever want to get them? And in so many words, he was kind of like, no, I don't want them. But also, it was kind of like whoever Mr. Miyagi has met. So it was kind of like Pat Morita. Whoever Pat Morita was in a movie with, in the Karate Kid movies, technically that's canon.
Yeah.
So Hillary Swank is technically canon because he even talks about Daniel. He talks about like, oh yeah, like, I had a friend who I taught martial arts to, and it helped him and everything like that. So I'm just saying,
See,
a season with Hillary Swank as one of the heroes, that'd be pretty sick.
or teaching or something. That's the thing. Because I roughly remember the next Karate Kid, and I remember it was basically Hillary Swank's character. The reason why there was a connection between her and Miyagi was that Miyagi knew of her father, right? They were like war buddies or something like that.
Yes.
So, see, that was the weird thing. I always thought that Mr. Miyagi was her grandfather's friend
Oh,
who helped raise her dad,
Mm-hmm.
and then the dad died.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. See, I haven't
Because-
watched it in a while.
Yeah, I've
It
watched
was
that movie
on
a couple
Netflix
of times.
for a bit.
It's still on Netflix.
Is it still on
Yeah,
Netflix?
I need to
Yeah,
watch
it's still,
it.
there are, what was it? They put all the Karate Kid movies up on Netflix, so that
Mhm.
way, in case you wanted to catch up on the lore, you could.
Which is
The
funny.
lore.
Which is funny though, because I remember when they did the transition from from YouTube to Netflix, they did have like all the Karate Kid movies on there. But when it
Yes.
finally premiered on Netflix,
They took them out.
they took them out.
because I think that contract ended.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Karate Kid is technically. So here's the thing. Here's the weird thing about Cobra Kai. And and I want to backtrack real quick before we move too long, but I will say this. The story of Cobra Kai's production is like YouTube production or YouTube Studios to Netflix to Sony. Because now Sony is producing it, not Netflix.
Yeah, Sony ended up buying it.
Yeah, which is really interesting. I will say that I like that in season 4, it still hasn't lost that, not amateur, but that very like that look that it had
you
since
could
season
tell
1.
That's the thing. You could tell there is a budget.
Yes, and Netflix knows how to advertise this. I have a feeling that we are going to get more of the original actors because I don't know if you looked at one of the posts I posted on or shared on Facebook where they literally have before and after photos of all the actors that have been on there. So like, John Kreese and Johnny Lawrence and, Danny and who else was on there? Terry Silver as well. Like it's, when they were in the original movies to when they're on the show now, they're really pushing on that.
Yeah,
they're really pushing on like that nostalgia factor. And every actor who has been on there has had nothing but positive experiences being on set. They all have wanted to be on there.
Yeah, because remember, what's her name? The actress that played Allie. For a while, I remember when
Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue. When Cobra Kai got announced, I think someone asked her, "Will she ever come back and do her character Allie?" And at first, she said no
because she was too expensive.
That's the thing.
And
not only that, but also during that time, COVID had just started.
Yeah.
For one, the second
COVID
thing
won.
was that she was busy with another TV show because she was busy filming The Boys.
Oh, that's right.
right.
I completely forgot she was in The Boys.
So she was filming The Boys, and I think she had she was like super busy. Like it wasn't just like, oh yeah,
because she was doing multiple things.
She was doing like a TV show.
And
I think she had like 2 movies going on, and like I think they were just trying to do a scheduling thing where they were like, her schedule is like really hectic. So I mean, I think they only had her for like a day, if that, and like probably for only a couple of hours, and they were just like, okay, all we're gonna do is run lines. That's it.
Yeah, because most of her scenes were at night.
Yeah, they're all at night.
Yeah.
So. What was it? And it's just like I think it's like in a hotel like bar, right?
And then, well, there was a restaurant scene with her and Johnny, but that could have been shot at night just with good lighting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like that's literally a costume change. You bring in William Zabka instead of Ralph Macchio, and there we go.
Yeah.
It's just look. Let's do a quick little discussion on seasons 1 through 3 before we get into 4, because 4 is the meat of this conversation. So, we've talked about it before. One of our previous issues. You guys can go find that because that was when we talked about season 3, right? We did.
We talked about season 3, and
we talked about
you
season
and I
3.
talked about season 3. Yeah.
Nick hasn't really talked much about it, but I think we're all in agreement that Cobra Kai is something special. Like it's one of those shows that there's something about it where it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 show, but something about it is
it's a very consistent show.
Very consistent, and it respects our nostalgia for what we grew up with without using it as a weapon to get us to watch it even further. Because there's moments in seasons 1 through 3 where we've sat back watching the show and gone like, well, we can't stop watching it now. We can't, and even the season finales.
I was telling Bryan because Bryan had asked me because he called me I think probably like a day or 2 ago to like just see how I was doing and kind of everything else.
I care, Nick.
He just wants it so that way he can say he checked up on me when I've done. Like I was there. Anyway,
I was there for Nick. I called him that one time.
He let
that
us
totally
know he had
counts.
COVID.
So anyway,
who called him? Not Rene. Me.
I'm just saying. So what ended up
I didn't
happening
call
was
him.
is that what was it when Cobra Kai when the season 4 came out, I immediately at midnight started watching. And I don't think I finished until 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I stayed up the entire time.
Jeez.
You had to rewatch the entire thing because Mandy didn't watch it.
Mandy's never. So she will not. She will not say this now because she loves the show completely.
She wasn't into it.
She wasn't into the idea of the show. She's a huge Karate Kid fan, though. That's
because
the thing.
no one was.
Yeah,
that was the hard part about season 1 when it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
No one wanted it because Karate Kid is such a respected trilogy of movies.
The thing is that when you hear that a studio or people are making a continuation of a long lost franchise or
Yes.
saga of movies like The Karate Kid, and firsthand when we hear, oh, they're making a sequel, but it's called Cobra Kai. I remember I didn't like the idea of that. It's like, why is it based on Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
What about Daniel? Like, Daniel's the main character. But no, that's the thing. The writers or the creators knew what they were going to do. But the thing is that the idea, when you hear it firsthand, it does not sound great.
It doesn't. And so that's what sat wrong with a lot of people.
I heard about it and I immediately went, yes, this is going to be my show.
Because you're the Barney Stinson of the group over here. You think that Danny was the bad guy the entire time.
No, and
Johnny was right.
That's the thing. And Mandy's a fan of Daniel. She likes Daniel a little bit more. But watching the show, she started watching the show. First episode, she was like, oh, okay. Like, but then she did ask. She goes, would losing that tournament really ruin Johnny's life? I'm like, well, it depends on how he took it, how he took the loss. That's the thing.
But it wasn't him.
No.
It was Kreese.
Yes.
That just manipulated him because he was only, like, he cared for him as a father, but he was an abusive father. He was an abusive father figure. And what makes this great is, because, again, it goes back to one of our previous issues when we talked about DC fandom. And the line that will never leave my head, that every villain is just a misunderstood hero, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what these writers are following in that sense, that Johnny...
The Joker's a real secret hero?
We might... You never know.
I don't like that.
Don't give people ideas.
Crooked. He's been robbing banks and stuff like that. But
For the good of the people.
For the mob.
For the good of the people.
It's distribution of wealth,
That's, I guess, go on.
But that's the thing, is that Johnny was, in a way, a misunderstood hero because, as Cobra Kai explains it, there's a reason why he is the way he is, right? He grew up in a family, that was wealthy, but only because the mother wanted to marry into money.
Yes.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And we see that in season 4. Not so much in season 3, because season 3 was more Kreese than
really
anything.
quick. I loved how you find out the mother of his child is the exact same way that his mom was.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I like that connection. But going back, so Mandy started watching it, and she started liking Johnny more. And what's great about it is that the show does a great job of showing you Johnny's side, but then also showing you how Daniel's side was, the whole time, But at the same time, they make you kind of like really get annoyed by the LaRussos in general.
Because the LaRussos had it well for so long.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that Danny is a hero. By definition, he is a hero. But when a hero keeps winning and winning and winning and winning, are you then blinded by what you have? And that's what happened with Danny.
And you see that more in season 4. That's the thing.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, though, is that is Ralph Macchio, Danny LaRusso, is he truly the villain, though? Because and I like the idea, but I do like the idea in Cobra Kai, especially if you do have that knowledge of the previous movies, the previous 4 or 5 movies. You do have that knowledge, kind of going like, oh, well, hold on, this was Danny's point of view. What's Johnny's point of view?
Yes.
What exactly was Johnny seeing, or what exactly was Johnny doing, or what was Danny doing that was pissing off Johnny? How exactly was this? How did this feud start?
But
and it does kind of dwindle down to Daniel kind of going in for Allie.
Yes, that was the root.
And that was the root cause. Yeah, that was the root cause of what was it? Allie being interested in Daniel, which also a lot of these the Cobra Kai and also Karate Kid are a just a giant kind of like things of misunderstandings.
Yes,
like especially Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2 are a lot of like, I misunderstood what happened, and I'm going to overreact. To the 10th degree. I mean, you even see it in season 4 of like, what was it? They're trying to separate the fight again. These 2 girls start a fight again.
Yeah.
And then both Miguel and also what's his name?
Robbie.
And Robbie get into another fight. They get into another fight because
what happened to the entire rule of no fighting allowed until the tournament? It gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that it's from a different point of view this time, because the first time Robbie was trying to stop the fight, and then Miguel overreacted.
Mm-hmm.
Then this time Miguel is trying to stop the fight, and then
Yes.
Robbie overreacts.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, when he kicks them into a pool and not off
A
flight of
balcony.
stairs.
Yeah.
But what's great about the series too is that when you're watching it and you see Daniel and Johnny talking, whenever they start talking, they kind of start connecting.
They have a lot in common.
They have a lot
They
in
have a-
common. But then right after that conversation ends, it's either between Miguel or his or Sam to show that, oh wait, like I don't like how they're doing, so I automatically hate you again. You
So
know?
it goes back to this lesson of how like Miyagi was teaching balance.
Yes.
You know, the yin
Yes.
and the yang, because they're both necessary in the development of growing one another,
Mm-hmm.
right? Johnny and Danny, when we see them in Cobra Kai,
Mm-hmm.
they're both right, but in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And they both share similarities. It's like, you know, if you want to say that Danny is, you know, the yin and
Mm-hmm.
Johnny's the yang,
Mhm.
you know how that symbol still has like a little bit of the black and white in it because that's kind of how it's that balance aspect of it. They share something in common, and for them to kind of like grow a little bit more,
Mhm.
they have to be unified and see that. And you're right, we see that kind of, you know, connection, but it always gets severed because of some stupid thing.
Yeah.
I will say this about seasons 1 through 3, and 4 is the big payoff because now that we're going to be moving on to season 5, I think season 5 is where we officially start the Cobra Kai proper storyline, because seasons 1 through 3 were kind of like the aftermath of Karate Kid 3, right? In the sense of like, well, what ended up happening with Danny? What ended up happening with Johnny? And what ended up, especially what ended up happening with Kreese?
Yeah.
Because Kreese was introduced in season 3. So all of this is the explanation. Season 4 is that payoff where if you are, you know, a fan of the original 3 movies and you watched seasons 1 through 3 all the way through, now we get the final, you know, the final layer of icing on top of that 3-layer cake.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that layer of icing that tells you this is why Danny hates Cobra Kai. Because it's not Johnny and it was never Kreese.
Yeah.
It was Terry Silver.
It was Silver.
Because Silver manipulated him and used that anger from Karate Kid 3 to get him to train under Cobra Kai, to get him to like get that, because he knows there's a little Cobra Kai in you.
Was
right?
it just me? Was it just me, or did you? Because I laughed my ass off when they first introduced Silver, and he's like, "Listen, man, I was doing a lot of coke.
Yeah.
I was real
it was
angry.
the 80s, bro.
Yeah. And you know, then before I knew it, I was tormenting a teenager for a high school tournament. Man, I was out of my mind."
It was because that's so true. Because the way that Karate Kid, because out of all the 3 movies that Ralph
It's the
Macchio
wackiest.
did, Karate Kid 3 is the weirdest one out of all of it. At least story and villain wise. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah,
but
because like Terry Silver comes out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
like same thing with what's his name, the guy that he's got to beat. Which I'm telling you,
oh
right
yeah,
now,
the fighter, yeah.
he's coming back.
Oh, he
I'm
is.
telling you, there's
He
no
is,
way
yeah.
that this kid,
the
this
fighter
guy
that they
isn't coming
hired
back.
to
No,
fight
that's
them,
okay. They teased that in season 4. Can we move on to season 4?
Yeah,
by the way?
no, we're
Is that
talking
what
about
going
season 4 right
Okay.
now.
We're talking
Real
about
quick.
season 4 right now.
Okay, so real
Terry
quick,
Silver.
I'm getting a little bit paranoid. It's recording, right? His audio and my camera's recording?
Yes.
Everything's good?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that one? Do we need a reset for that one?
We'll be doing it in about 5 minutes. So,
Okay.
season 4.
Okay.
We jump straight into it and we get Terry Silver. Like, we were teased. We got teased him.
We showed
at
the
end of season
backstory of
3.
how why Silver is so devoted to,
Kreese.
Kreese, or why he's so in debt. Like his life is in
yeah.
debt. With him.
So, I will say this.
Yes.
I love the advertising for season 4 because from what we remember of Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver, right, is that he's this manipulative asshole who's going to take advantage of a high schooler and use all the darkness with him. Basically, he Palpatined Anakin out of Danny.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we get this, right? This is what we're getting, right? And that's what
Except for Danny realizes what he did was wrong after getting the shit beat out.
Dang
Oh,
it, now
yeah.
you had to freaking cuss, didn't you? I got it, don't worry. Thanks,
Is-
Nick.
Well, that's the thing is like,
bring me on for it.
Daniel realized after freaking drawing blood from a guy at a dance club,
Yeah. So that's the thing is that, we get this tease in that in the ads, right?
Yes.
And then Terry Silver gets introduced and he's just like, I'm not cracked out anymore, guys.
Yeah. Well, what's funny
calm.
is just like, yeah, he's playing the piano, and he gets the call from John, and he's like, it's been a long time, and just hangs up and just it's like, you know,
I'm vegan. I drink wine. I have socials.
Yes.
I'm calm. I'm great. But then we get that slight bit of like the coming out of like the original Terry Silver, right? Where he all of a sudden is down in the cellar, he's about to pick out a wine, and he looks at it and he's like, can it still kick it? I can still kick it.
Yeah.
And slowly starts
That
to
was
bring
really
out that
cool.
inner like that inner Terry Silver that we all know.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's his development. It's a slow but proper development. And we get to see that Terry Silver, you know, these guys were young. We saw them when they were young in Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
Now that they're older, we see the effects of that manipulation because out of everyone in that series, everyone has grown up in some sort of way. Kreese has kind of matured, even though he is still an asshole.
Yeah.
He's matured and fine-tuned his anger and his manipulation to grow
Yeah.
as a character and to manage to take back Cobra Kai from Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
Right? Danny is now a full-fledged, like he's rich, he's got a good family, he's grown up, and Johnny is trying to figure his way out.
Yeah.
He's still grown. Terry's the only one that hasn't.
Yes.
Terry has, but he reverted back.
Yes.
And that's what makes him really great.
And I think that's why we're going to see more. Obviously, we're going to see how he develops again. Or no, like now that he's back at the end of this season.
Yeah.
You know, and just seeing more of him, obviously, next season, in season 5.
Oh, my God.
Without John.
The most interesting thing I have to say, though, is the development of Kreese.
In season 4?
Because Kreese was very much a one-note villain inside of the original Karate Kid going into Karate Kid 3.
Yeah, he was just the evil sensei. That was it.
Yeah, he was just an evil sensei. You didn't get all. He talked kind of about Vietnam in 3, and he talked about it in 1. So you knew he had a military background, but you didn't really know what happened to Kreese and also to Terry Silver that kind of like got them this way. And I really do appreciate the show for giving you a lot of backstory on these characters that even if you are a person who hasn't seen the Karate Kid movies, you can you definitely understand what's going on. They use flashbacks really well to kind of tell a bigger story than really the budget's kind of like affording to. But it really does. I really appreciate how Kreese develops because you can see that he is a father figure to to Johnny.
To Johnny
He very much sees Johnny Lawrence as a son. You know, he was very proud of him, and he is trying. Near the end of season 4, he's trying to make up for those mistakes that he made in inside the first Karate Kid movie, for like choking him out. And he understands this is why Johnny hates me. Like
he has that moment of realization.
Yeah, he's having like a moment of realization of like, oh my God, like I'm a dick.
Yeah.
And
Nick, hold that thought real quick. I'm gonna do a quick little production cut here to reset the camera. So we'll be back in a second, guys. And we're back.
Yay!
Just like that. Nick, go on.
So yeah,
yeah.
I had to do the same thing. I was like, okay, yeah, let me get back to my thought. And I was like,
oh no, because I have soup in front of me and I was about to eat it.
Oh, you doopy doo.
But anyway,
are you like Baby Yoda right now, wrapped up in your blankie?
No, I'm sitting at my desk.
my balls
With,
out.
Balls
Honestly,
flat on the desk.
That is how I hang out in my room. But I like the idea that Kreese has a change of heart, especially when it comes to when they're getting to the final fights, and he sees Robbie pure in rage. Like he's just seeing like all the rage inside of him, and he's having the same realization that Johnny had when he saw Miguel.
Yeah.
Because he sees Miguel like full of rage, and he's saying like no mercy, everything like that, and he can kind of go, and he looks at himself and goes, what did I teach him?
Yes.
Like this isn't what I meant to teach you. I wanted to teach you something. I wanted to just make sure that you could defend yourself, not be a bully, not be a menace. And he saw that turn into Robbie, and then that also goes into I forget what the girl's character name is.
Tori. The best girl.
She's on your list, I'm assuming. So
And yes,
She's a
she
child.
is over 21, guys.
She's
Like,
24, 23.
Just, yeah. that's-
Look, I don't want to be creepy. Let's just say that. I
let's
just
just-
appreciate
You
her
are-
acting.
you
no,
made this
she
creepy.
is a
You
great
made this
actress.
creepy.
Peyton List is a great actress, okay?
I'm not
She's
arguing that.
awesome.
She
And I can't
sold
wait
me
for her
that
arc
she's
in
a
season
bitch,
5.
all right? Like,
she's gonna be. I mean, look. If Hog had redemption in season 4,
that's true.
season 5 is Tori's redemption. That's all I gotta say. Peyton List, 100%. Let's do this.
I'm unsure. I think that it's Robbie. It's going to be Robbie's redemption because we
It's
have
both.
to have a redemption for. We've had Miguel.
Hold up,
now
hold up.
become-
Don't go into the new characters because that's a whole other topic. Like that's a whole other topic.
Oh,
Finish
for
your-
new characters?
Yeah, for the new characters
Okay.
because there's a lot to talk about in terms of the old characters first before we
Oh,
move on
okay,
to that.
Okay, I see
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah. So because you're right, Kreese has a change of heart, but I think that's what makes this show so great is that it sells you on the idea that these are not one note characters because you like
It makes them people.
how many when you and Mandy watched it,
Yeah.
right? Mandy watched it the whole way through.
Yes.
Was there ever a moment where she said, I'm going to pause and go to sleep or just kind of take a break? Were there like any really big moments? Or did
There
you guys
was-
like
no,
binge like
so-
6-7 episodes?
So I'm watching it with her, and I'm waiting because my favorite finale is the season 2 finale,
Which is the cell phone?
Yes, but also with Miguel, how it ends when he falls and hits the rails, stair rails.
Oh, yeah.
So because that's the biggest moment in the whole series before season
I
4.
cried.
That's the thing.
I cried.
So I'm watching
That
it.
sounds like Brian.
So I'm watching it, and she's watching it,
Uh-huh.
and then we get to episode 9, season 2, and so it's not late, but it is like kind of like it's like around 10 or 9 o'clock.
Babe, we got to go to sleep.
No, but she stopped it. She went like, okay, we'll stop it there. I'm like, wait, did you stop it because you know that season 2 is a big finale? You don't want to stop it right then and there. You rather, when you watch the finale of season 2, automatically go straight into season 3. And she's like, yeah.
Oh, so she knew.
Yeah,
So she played the
yeah.
cards right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then when that happened, she was like in disbelief.
So it's not just the season finales, though. It's not just the story arc.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Every old character that we've gotten back has had to develop, but not just straight up develop. They had to earn their development.
Yes.
Like Johnny was a dude
Drunken
that was
fool.
a drunken fool
Yeah.
in his apartment, broke. He was the handyman. He was like the Mr. Miyagi of the apartments, but just didn't have his life together.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
Yes.
Like this guy was a loser. And now all of a sudden, from seasons 1 all the way to 4, he slowly started to develop into a better person.
Yeah.
We went from a guy that didn't know anything to a dude that now has 2 kids.
Yes.
Ironically, I actually never thought about it like that, but you're right. Johnny does become Mr. Miyagi in a way. Of
He's
this-
growing into that kind of character.
Well, but the thing is that Mr. Miyagi was lost because Mr. Miyagi lost his family.
Yes.
Do we have a drunken scene with him in season? Yes.
No, what? For
He
In
gets
the first
drunk.
movie.
In the first movie.
Yeah,
he
first
gets
movie.
drunk
Oh,
because
yeah.
of his wife's
Yeah.
death.
He talks about how his wife was murdered in the war and like his son died in the war as well.
Yeah.
Died in
what was
the
it?
encampments, I believe, right?
It was the one, I think it was supposed to be, it was the night, I think, when he was supposed to meet up with Allie at the country club.
Yes.
But then he
Yes,
catches
and
Johnny.
They have something happens.
Yeah.
I think he what was it? I think Johnny ends up pushing him into something and then
Yeah. No. Daniel
scene.
catches Allie and Johnny dancing.
Yes.
And he goes for a
Yes,
kiss.
that's what it was.
He goes for a kiss at Allie, but then Daniel
He doesn't-
runs away as soon as he sees it and doesn't see Allie slap Johnny after the kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so go on.
But anyway, the thing is that both him and Mr. Miyagi were both lost in their lives. They didn't really know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
But once finding that student and, forming a school and doing everything like that, that really gave them a purpose and really showed them this is what I was meant to do. I was meant to teach. I was meant to, mentor the next generation and pass on the wisdom that I've learned from my years. Because honestly, you can say kind of the same thing about Mr. Miyagi in the first movie. He's not necessarily a bum. He's not necessarily a drunk or
No.
anything like that.
He's just to himself. He keeps himself.
But he's just to himself, and he doesn't really. He's kind of just waiting for himself to die.
Yeah.
basically.
Like he has no family. He's not talking with anybody. He's just kind of there.
He has like a little garden room in the apartment complex, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just has a bonsai tree.
But that's what makes that series so like well respected, is that we have that character development of certain people. We see Danny grow and Mr. Miyagi grow in all 3 movies, right?
Yeah.
And in here we're getting that same experience over 4 seasons. Every character is not getting their development, they're earning their development. LaRusso is one of those reverse developments where he has everything at the palm of his hand, but he's slowly starting to lose everything and has to understand why. And that journey and that pain and suffering both Johnny and Danny have to go through is what gets us hooked the entire way through. We can't put an episode down. A season comes out and we have to stay hooked that entire way through because we want to know what the next episode is. We want to know what's going on with these characters. And even still, the villains, again, Kreese has a development.
Yeah.
He has a superior development because he comes in and tricks Johnny into thinking that he's back and he's going to teach him and he's going to do just right and do right to what he did wrong in the original trilogy of movies, and then all of a sudden takes Cobra Kai away from him.
I think one of the things that makes me respect the show a lot, one of the moments of writing aspect, was the whole it's not even season 4, it's in season 3 of the reasoning, because you could tell if you have a Karate Kid show, you have to go do callbacks on all the movies. So the callback to Karate Kid Part 2, so the writers are saying basically they were in a room like, how do we get Daniel back to Okinawa?
Yeah.
And they did that in the most creative way that I think. It was like, okay, we're going to have his dealership, and then his Daytona contract's going to be at jeopardy. He has to go to Japan to talk about it. And then boom, he's in Japan, but he's not in obviously he's not in Okinawa. But he's in Japan waiting. It doesn't work out for him. And then he gets inspired to go to Okinawa.
I mean, the island's not very big.
That's the thing.
You can go from. Well, I mean,
there's that growth, and it causes it's the reasons as to why he just does. They don't just happen to be there.
Well, because going from Japan to Okinawa is like probably like a 30-minute flight. Like Japan to Okinawa, because Okinawa is a separate island.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to kind of like see how that all kind of morphs together, and especially when they bring in what was it, like they bring in all the characters from the second movie that he met in Japan. They bring in Chosen, they bring in Yuji Okimoto, and I love the idea of like, there was a form of a Miyagi-Do that you don't know. Mr. Miyagi never taught it to you. He knew it.
It was like the offensive take on it.
Yeah, it was the offensive form of Miyagi-Do.
And I will say this before we move on to the newer characters, because we do have about like maybe no more than 15 minutes left on the show. They bring back the romantic interests from the original movies in a way that develops the characters and not like ruins them.
Yes.
So I think what the heck?
That's the plumber. He's knocking next door. Be like, hey, quiet guys.
Shut up. Anyways,
you guys are spoiling Cobra Kai.
I haven't seen it yet. So Ali's return, right?
That's
in
the
season
biggest.
3.
Yeah, in season 3, that was.
You would have thought that was a wrench in Johnny's like life because he was already developing a relationship with Miguel's mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you gonna ruin this? Like, you have something good.
That's the thing. You would think that would, because it's a not a cop out, but usually that's how it happens in shows.
It's a through line.
Yeah, exactly. And what they do here is they use Ali in a way that's more along the lines of like, in order for you to grow, look at your past and learn from that.
Not only that, but also Ali works as a really great mediator.
Exactly.
Between
Johnny
the two of them.
Danny.
So that way, once you get to season 4, when they're trying to work together, it's kind of like Ali was able to break down, you guys actually have a lot in common. You guys could be really good friends if you guys weren't just assholes to each other all the time.
Now, what do they do with the girl when in Okinawa? They did the exact same thing, but it was with Danny and Chosen. She was the mediator between the two. She was the mediator between the two. Yeah. And it's so funny because there was a little bit of that romantic interest between the two in Karate Kid 2, but they kind of cut that away by saying, I have a family now. Yeah. And it's not a date or it's not anything. I'm just very happy to see you because you are a childhood friend that we had a long relationship with.
They explained it in 3. That when Johnny was going to come to the States, he wanted her to come with, but unfortunately she stayed back in Okinawa, and then they were trying to do it long distance. That's why in 3 he doesn't really have a love interest.
Yeah, he just has that. He just talks to that girl in 3.
He talks to that girl in
Yeah.
3, but he doesn't really have like a
It's-
solid love interest because
No.
in the very beginning he breaks up with with her.
Yeah. So
With Yuki.
it's great. It's good character development, and we can see that the writers are really respecting the source material to kind of push forward with these old characters in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
with the old characters, you gotta got the new characters, the newer generation of kids, right? So there's one tiny little bit
Are you
of
talking about
thing.
his son?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a tiny little bit of like annoyance
say
with these new characters
Daniel
that I'm
son's a dick.
yes. But his arc is kind of getting interesting. I feel like the writers still haven't grasped how the younger generation talks.
Yeah.
Because they cuss a lot. And
Yeah.
I get it, they cuss, but not
Kids
to
cuss.
that extent.
No, that's the thing.
And-
Kids do cuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, would they say that? Would we
I'm
really be talking about that?
I'm trying to remember what I said as a kid in high school, to kind of like, I remember we said the S word a lot.
Yes.
And then we said
the F word.
The F word a lot because
Yes.
that was fun to say.
Yeah, so I get it,
Yeah.
but also some of the topics of conversation are kind of like, dude, you guys are like 15, 16 years old. I wasn't even talking about that. Maybe some people were, but you guys look too
was gonna
nerdy to
say-
kind of like talk about that. It just
I was
doesn't
talking
fit
about
certain
that.
I was to say
No.
I may have been talking about that, but the thing is, I wasn't hanging out with other nerdy people when I was the only nerd in high
Okay,
school. That's
sure.
the thing.
I just didn't
No.
grow up with that, so that's why it's kind of
See,
like weird.
That's
for me, you know?
I may have had a different perspective, seeing as I went to an all guy school in high school.
Dang.
So it's kind of like just hanging out in a locker room all day
Yeah,
because it smells like one too. Because most guys are like, I'm not seeing any girls today. I'm not going to shower for like 3 days. Whatever.
Like, I can smell the onions.
you can smell the Axe body spray.
Yeah, Axe body spray.
Dude, it smelled like Axe body sway and nuts.
Sweaty nuts.
But besides
It's
that kind of
sweaty
like weird thing that they're doing with the kids, the characters themselves are just really great mirror images of what we originally saw in the trilogy without just being copy paste.
Yes.
Because every character started out a certain way and now they're growing and maturing as individuals in a way that's like, we understand. We have our favorites and we have the people we don't like. Just like in
I'm
Karate
telling you
Kids
right
1
now,
through 3.
Miguel is my favorite.
Well, obviously,
Yes.
Miguel is
Miguel's
such a
my
great.
favorite.
Yeah, Miguel's great. But that's the thing is like, when we think of the older cast, I don't think we can fully hate someone in the older cast. I think we all like Kreese in terms of how he's developed.
no, he's a more developed villain.
We still
Yeah.
like Danny for kind of like
Daniel.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, Daniel's still likable because he's learning.
Yeah.
The thing is, what's great about it is that they're not exactly who they were in the past movies.
Exactly.
They're growing.
So all of these
Yeah.
characters are becoming lovable.
Yes.
Right? And with the newer cast, we have our favorites
Mm-hmm.
and we have the ones that need to shut up. Sam.
Who needs
Why do you hate Sam
Because
so
she
much?
doesn't understand. I swear, it's like you have one person telling her, "Hey, relax," and she's like, "Okay," but then she still does the same mistake, and I'm like, "Listen, sweetie, I get it. You're a teenager. You got hormones. I get that." But she still makes the same mistake, and then
Wait,
she's
okay,
like,
wait,
"Mommy,
wait.
help me."
No.
But then mommy tells her wrong, and then she's like,
Wait, what?
"You know what, Mom? I hate you too."
I feel like you're getting
What-
a
you know
different
what?
perspective.
I
of
feel
Sam.
like
I just
either
don't
you
like
weren't paying
Sam.
attention to the show,
Or
or
me and Nick are like,
Listen,
wait, what?
Wait, Tori
I
ripped
have a
open
question.
her arm with the freaking knuckles, the bladed
hold on.
knuckles.
I
I
have
was
a
like,
question.
"Do it."
So because Sam doesn't show any cleavage inside the show, do you just kind of hear like the Muppets? Do you just hear like the kind of like a wah 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 wah?
Yeah,
wah
because
talking?
that
No!
prom dress that Tori was wearing did not. I was like,
No,
wow.
that's not the.
Damn,
no,
they let her
Because
in
for
with
some-
that.
That
That
is
was-
not the reason.
Because I'm just saying
sucks.
there was a lot more to Sam.
Look,
than
the
what you
actress
said.
that plays Sam, she's great, but I like her because she makes me really not like Sam.
Okay,
If you
here's
can
my
really
thing, though.
sell me on a character to say that I don't like you, then that means you're doing your job right.
Yeah.
Sam
right?
is Daniel.
Yeah,
Sam
she's going through
is
the
literally
turmoil, yeah.
written-
But
Sam
she's
is
not
literally written
grasping-
like Daniel.
She's
where-
Daniel without Miyagi.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
she has
I
all
can
the
agree with
anger-
that.
Yeah.
She has all the anger. She has all of this frustration, but she feels like she's alone. And she feels like
Yes.
what people are saying around her is kind of she's in a vacuum.
Yes.
So it's kind of like what would have happened to Danny if Mr. Miyagi wasn't there, if he wasn't or if Mr. Miyagi was very closed off, like he
Yes.
didn't necessarily try to understand what exactly Daniel was going
Because
through.
LaRusso or Daniel LaRusso is trying to be that Mr. Miyagi,
Yeah.
but he's not understanding the full entity of what Mr. Miyagi was to him, and that's that
Exactly.
difficulty. So I understand that. Okay, I respect that
But,
opinion.
but the thing is that also that changes at the end because
This is gonna show up on the audio so badly, dude.
It kind of is.
what?
No, they're okay. So really quick, there's plumbers next door in the bathroom. But the thing is because we're connected, you know, we're wall to wall in the bathroom. We can hear exactly what the plumbers are doing. They're drilling.
It's literally 9:30 at night.
These guys,
Yeah, of
and I
course.
will say this: these guys, they said, "Oh, we'll be here at 9 a.m." No, they showed up at 1.
So besides that,
Yes.
We
my
got
thing
work
is
to
that with the ending of season 4,
Yeah.
not only does Sam lose, but she sees that her aggression and everything like that
Yes.
necessarily didn't work. That
Yes.
wasn't the tactic I needed to go going in against Tori.
And
Not
I-
only that, but
Yeah.
also now Johnny and Danny are both listening to what she has to say.
Yes.
So
That-
I have a
that-
feeling that character is going to develop and it's going to change.
So that's the great thing about all these newer characters is that they're going through a journey.
Yeah.
And just like the older characters finally finishing up their arcs and getting a solid development that's
Yes.
going to carry into the next 2 seasons or so, they're getting at development as well. And by season 4, I think that we reach that point, not that climax, but that point where each character besides Hawk is going to get some sort of redemption or some sort of like final moment that kind of truly brings them together.
Yeah.
Because Sam grew up from being a stubborn kid who felt like she could, you know, take on the world because she knows Miyagi-Do,
Yeah.
to now seeing I could see the world through 2 different perspectives, through,
Exactly.
you know, Eagle Fang and through Miyagi-Do.
That's the thing.
The offense and the defense.
I think so. Really quick, because I know we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon, and I feel like we'll talk about it more next week, just to kind of like our more fanboy discussions. Because I feel like we need to talk about that whole tournament.
we can do the
Oh, yeah,
a
it was
mini
great.
cast out of it.
That's
Once
the
Nick you know what? Once Nick gets cleared, I feel like we can discuss the tournament.
That's the
Well,
thing.
I'm supposed to be clear by Monday, but here's the thing that I really liked about it. The only for me, the only thing because you know I've watched a lot of movies, I've watched a lot of these sports movies and everything like that. The first thing I thought was
My bad, Nick. I'm sorry. I didn't know you just indulged in blood sport the entire time.
basically, but the thing is that by the end of this, I knew that they were going to lose. I know Eagle Fang was going to lose, and I knew that Miyagi-Do was going to make it to the very end.
It couldn't have ended any other way because there was
Exactly.
already a season 5.
I
It
loved
worked.
how
But-
they reconstruct the tournament, though, the point system and like the layers of winning.
Yeah.
It
Not
wasn't-
only that,
yeah.
but also the interesting thing that I liked about it too. I feel like that was we have more money, so let's really show off these kids doing karate.
Mhm.
Like let's like really show like these kids doing some stuff. That's why they had the point system, but that's besides the point. I thought it was an interesting thing of because the Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang couldn't defeat Cobra Kai separately.
Yes.
That's just not how it's going to work out.
They have to
In order-
unify.
Mhm.
They have to unify and they have to go under a new banner.
It can't be Miyagi-Do,
And
Eagle
Eagle
Fang.
Fang,
It's
yeah.
got to be something different,
Has
which
to
is
be
It has to
totally
be
a whole new
which is
dojo.
great because this also
Yes.
kind of goes alongside the new character they bring in, the kid Kenny.
Yes.
Because Kenny was such a late introduction, but he also had really great development up until the end.
No, what I
Because he
loved
was-
is how they connected Kenny too.
Yeah, because he's this kid with problems who was basically new to the entire school,
Yeah.
bullied, and didn't have inner strength. But then they took that like fear. They Star Warsed him, right? That fear and anger that he has about his family and being bullied, and they use that as a weapon to get him to be super aggressive, which is why we get that Anthony LaRusso storyline with Kenny.
Yeah.
That's why, even though you don't like him, I'm interested. I'm set and ready. So yeah, we can talk more about Cobra Kai and like the
I feel
final
like
ends of the tournament in a mini cast.
I want to talk about more about Kenny and I want to talk about Robbie having to
Should we
train
just do
Kenny.
like a separate mini cast for the newer characters? And
Yes,
just
I
kind of
think
wrap
so.
it up
Yeah,
with
'cause
like
that's
the
something
ending of
that's
it.
something that we could talk about for like another hour.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
definitely do that. I'm looking forward to seeing how season 5 kind of develops. Chosen is
back.
Yeah.
Chosen is
teaching-
back, and
yeah.
he's gonna be teaching the kids offense under a new banner.
Mhm.
Well,
Robbie.
I actually forget what did Chosen's uncle call their form of karate.
Oh, I don't know actually.
Because remember, Shozen is what was it? His uncle was Miyagi's best friend, and then Miyagi's best friend, his parents died. Shozen got adopted by Miyagi's dad, and then Miyagi's dad then taught both of them their form of karate.
Yeah.
And what was it? Then Shozen then learned from his uncle. And then, that's how 2 kind of happens. That's the battle between the 2 forms of karate. The same type of karate. Who's better at it?
Oh, Sato's dojo.
So
yes.
So
I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was something that has to do with Sato.
Miyagi Sato dojo?
No. So here's the interesting thing, because Nick just gave me an idea of how they might move forward with this. Did you notice that at the end of season 4, it ends with LaRusso visiting Miyagi's grave one last time before before Chosen is revealed again?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that the writers are basically saying, we're going to put Miyagi to rest. He is no longer going to be the main influence in stopping Cobra Kai. We're going to be moving forward under a new banner. I don't think it's going to be,
that makes sense.
It probably isn't because it was symbolic in that way. There was no reason for him to go visit the grave again and say well, yeah, I have to move. I have to I can't honor the deal.
There was, because Shozen said, I would love to come to America so that way I can also visit Miyagi's grave.
Yeah, but that
happened in 3.
So there's that sign of respect though, where it was okay, we're laying Miyagi to rest now. This storyline, the Miyagi-Do storyline is over. The next season, we have Miguel looking for his dad and Johnny going for it, Johnny going to follow him. So it might not even be until season 6, because they've talked about potentially having 2 more seasons after this in season 5. So it's going up to season 7, I think.
Well, the writers are doing a great job of kind of showing off these different story arcs so we can get invested. Because that was the one thing I was kind of what's going to happen after season 4?
Yeah.
Because it's been leading up to this tournament.
Yeah.
And
well, the thing is that they have one more tournament left, because they were sophomores when they got into it, and then they all said next year we all turn 18.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they got one more.
So they got one more tournament left in order to
18 and under.
So season 5 is the prep, season
6 is the
tournament.
Next tournament. Yeah.
So there could be so maybe season 6 might be the end. I don't know. There's a lot to think about in that sense.
Not only that, but I actually wouldn't mind though if I don't know if that was a kid or a cat outside that died. Anyway,
we both heard that. We're just what the heck?
So
Nick's playing Five Nights at Freddy's IRL.
I think that what's going to happen is that moving forward, I actually wouldn't mind seeing them out of high school in college, kind of going a little bit further. I always think that that's kind of a great moniker of how exactly do I take the teachings of my karate, of what I learned in karate, and how do I take that to college? How do I become a person with it?
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to see that,
because that was that was basically what the last movie was. I mean, after the last one, Danny becomes 18, he fights, he keeps his title and everything like that, and then boom, that's it.
That's true.
So
they have to defend the title every year.
Yeah,
in Karate Kid.
Yeah, because he had already defended it. He hadn't that was the second time, because he got it in his junior year. So he got it when he was 17. When he turned 18, damn, there was a lot of things that happened during that time, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's what I was telling Bryan when we were talking about The Witcher and the time span. In this series, it's only been a year span, hasn't it? Through seasons 1 and
technically
4. Because the tournament was in the end of season 1, and then the next tournament wasn't until season 4.
Yeah, they only celebrated Christmas once.
Yes.
Yeah, so technically, it's only been a year and a half.
That's insane. But that's how that's why it makes it so much better. We do have to wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah.
But I will say that this show has been nothing but spectacular in terms of selling itself. Its character developments are great. You get really hooked on the fact that these characters are developing in a way that just gets you. It's respected. They're respecting where they're coming from. The newer characters, you get invested in them, and you have your heroes and your villains that you really appreciate. And it's really selling you on the fact that there was more to Cobra Kai than simply just the Karate Kid movies. The story was not just Danny LaRusso.
That's the thing. It wasn't just this is the bad karate dojo.
No. They want you to buy more into it, which is really good.
I mean, because Cobra Kai is the main villain for 2 of 4 Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what's really great? Final note. That in the tournament right before Sam is about to fight Tori, Daniel goes up to the announcer because he's introduced as the two-time champion, All-Valley champion, Daniel LaRusso. Then he goes up and he's like, no, you also got to say that to Johnny because Johnny was also a 2-time defending All-Valley champion. And they refixed that, which is great because now that was the turning point for Johnny to see there's now mutual respect amongst those two. Because I don't think we're going to get that connection of Daniel and Johnny in season 5, given that Johnny's probably going to be spending most of that season looking for
Robbie.
Miguel.
Oh, Miguel, that's
in Mexico.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So there's that final respect that kind of ties that together for one last bit until Miguel gets found. I don't know how long it'll take in season 5.
He's doing so. The actor that's Miguel. He's also going to be filming Blue Beetle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He
He got
told him
cast
to
as
get
Blue
buffer.
Beetle.
So he needs to get buffer, and that's why he was a little thicker in this season, in season 4. And that's the thing. He's going to be doing Blue Beetle. So I don't know if Miguel's going to be.
I'm going to tell you right now. He's going to be a beautiful Blue Beetle.
Oh no, he's gonna be a
Thank
great.
you for fixing that.
He's gonna be a great Blue Beetle.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait for him to be Blue Beetle.
I'm so happy that
such a great
him.
actor. Yeah. Such a great actor.
He has a long journey ahead of him. He's a great actor, great everything. He does a lot of the stunt work and everything like that. Honestly, I can see him going off for maybe half a season.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes. And kind of like in Mexico and everything else. I am interested to kind of see Johnny come back and see them properly develop what he's already taught them when it comes to offense.
Yeah.
Because very much what's going to be happening
you got
is
10
that
seconds, the camera's dying.
Okay,
just
so
let's
basically what
reset.
happens is that Chosen is going to basically is going to take what they already know on offense and then show them how to do it correctly.
Yeah. That was it?
That was it. You rushed me for no reason. I don't know why. I just got yelled at.
My bad. We got to wrap it up because this camera's about to die. So yeah, we're probably out of time, and it was rushed. My bad. But yeah, we'll be back next week, issue 81. We'll talk more new topics, and then stay tuned for the mini cast for Cobra Kai, and when we discuss the newer cast and what we like so much about them. Because honestly, there's a lot to talk about, and there's just so many layers to Cobra Kai. So many layers.
Definitely.
With that said, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and Keeping Up With the Nerds. Visit our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. And if you guys listen to our audio platforms, follow us on there, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. With that said, are we ready to wrap this episode up or this issue?
are.
Yes, let's go ahead and do it. This has been Keeping Up With the Nerds, issue number 80. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We want to thank everyone for listening to this issue and hope to see you all next time.